What's going on? This is Coach Liebs bringing you episode 9 of Coach Talk. Today is Thursday. It's the day before the walkthrough, last full speed practice to get prepared for the game on Saturday versus Bergen Catholic. And it's a very interesting day to me, always a very important day in the week. But I think that with some teams, you get to the day before the walkthrough, you had your first 2 to 3 days of full padded, full speed practice. Generally the first 2 days for us this week, it was 3 days of install because we have an extra day playing Friday last week. Now we play Saturday this week. But usually the install's done at this point. You get 2 days out from the game. You're done installing new stuff. You know what the game plan is. You know what the scheme is. And now today is all about execution. And we actually call it day of execution. And it's all team periods, special teams, offense, defense, going against the look we're going to see. And everything's about being perfect. And, like I said, there's nothing new. But I think that with every team, it's human nature to kind of want to relax on this day. You feel like your work is done. All right, a lot of teams don't go full pads. We will be full pads today, but I've been in a lot of programs where it's just uppers on this day, and those little things. There's not a full indie period. All these things with practice being a little bit different. I think kids tend to relax a little bit, and it's crucial for us that we don't. That we have a great day. That we have a really high energy day, really focused day, and try to be perfect with our execution. But more than anything, we have to compete. We just can't let our foot off the gas. And I don't know, we'd be crazy to think that we're good enough at this point, or we've done our work, or we can settle. That's absolutely not the case. So I think it's key for us to be a mature football team. Our leaders need to step up and set the tone. As coaches, we need to set the tone, bring energy. Yes, we want to focus. Yes, we want things to be flawless, but more important than anything is that we need to compete at a game speed level and continue to build that tempo and build that mindset going into the game. This kind of issue or this concern, always brings me back to the different ways of structuring practice during the week. And when I was at Rutgers under Coach Flood, he kind of adopted the system that Chip Kelly was known for starting, where we had a walkthrough. You play Saturdays in college, so we had a walkthrough on Thursday. And then on Friday, the day before the game, it would be back into, like an uppers practice, but a real full practice where you're going, thud contact with team, meaning that you're going to fit people up, you're going to hit, you're just not bringing people to the ground. And you would do full speed live periods, the day before the game. And I think the purpose of that, seemingly is to, kind of build the tempo back up going into the game, where you take a day on Thursday to let your bodies recover. That's like I said, by that point the game plan's in, there's nothing new, so let's walk through the entire game plan. And we used to have at Rutgers an 80-90 play walkthrough on offense where we'd go through every situation. We'd have 2 drives from a coming out situation, backed up inside the your own 5. We'd have a third down period. We would have a drive series where we start on the -25 and we drive all the way down the field and have situations for each. And you're walking through these plays and kind of letting the kids walk through the plays in their mind, really slow things down so they can work out the finer details, but also walk through the situations. And it's not full speed. It's 3rd and 8 and everything's kind of chaotic. You can really take a second, take a deep breath, and think about, what you need to do to execute in this situation. We're down by 12 and we score a touchdown. Do we go for 2 or go for 1? If you're, then you could, and so now you're down 5 after you score. Things like that. There's a lot of different nuances I think you can get accomplished on this day. You do that generally on the day before the game as well. But I kind of like that. I kind of understand the concept of, doing your walkthrough 2 days out and then kind of building everything back up and having a full speed practice the day before the game. I think the key to that is that you can't let that Friday now be a lazy day. Just like today can't be a lazy day, you can't. It's even more human nature to the day after a walkthrough think that my work here is done. I think the key to whichever model you decide to choose, for us, we walked through the day before, at Rutgers, Chip Kelly, we walked through 2 days before and then came back with a full speed practice the next day. I think no matter what you choose, the key is to make sure that this day today or, the day after the walkthrough, day before the walkthrough, depending on the system, is full speed and it's competitive and we're getting after each other and everything's focused. I know I generally side with Ralph Friedgen. He's obviously been a close mentor of mine and a huge part of the Sideline Hustle. He hated the way we did it at Rutgers. He didn't like he liked the 80 play walkthrough, didn't like the way we practice on Friday before the game. And I think that's the key. I don't know that the system or the structure of each week makes a huge difference. I think the key is this day today, this half speed, half padded practice enforcing, full speed and enforcing competitiveness. So I think it's an interesting topic for us as coaches. I think it's something that I don't know what the right answer is. I can't say that one answer is better than the other. I see the merit in doing a walkthrough on Thursday and then now ramping it back up the day before the game. But I've also, for most of my career, been doing it in this structure where today is your half padded, maybe not full contact practice, but it's your day of execution. It's your day where you're getting everything right at full speed. And I just think you can't let the competitiveness go soft. You can't let the scout team think that their work is done or they have to go easy. And you can't let the offense think that this is a jog through. This is a 100%, let's get right and let's compete today. And that's what we need today. It has to be a great day for us to win this game on Saturday. And we say it all the time, but, win the game during the week. I think the work we put in from Sunday through Friday is going to win us this game on Saturday. And then the rest of it is just us executing and going out there and doing our job. So that's the big focus for today. On to Q&A. I asked a question on the Instagram story, asked people to send in some questions, and I got a good one from Alejandro. He said, what would your number one advice be for receivers coaches who are just starting out? I thought this was a great question, and I think the biggest thing I can recommend is for you to listen and learn. I think as a first-year coach or a young coach, you tend to want to, you're a little self-conscious, so you tend to want to pretend you have all the answers or act like you have all the answers and just put on a front that you know what you're doing. And I think it's okay to not know, and it's okay to humble yourself and just learn. Find teachers that you look up to, who you respect, you like the way they do things, and learn the nuances of their systems. And don't act like you haven't figured out or don't settle on one way or another until you've tasted a lot of different ways of doing it. I'm so blessed with the people that I was able to learn the game of football from, starting with the wide receivers coach who's now at UConn, who was at Albany my first year, Aaron Smith. He was unbelievable at teaching me how to be a professional and taught me a lot of the basics of wide receiver play. The way to handle myself was a big thing I learned from him. And then I worked for Anthony Campanelli at Rutgers and Ben McDaniels at Rutgers, who's Josh McDaniels' younger brother, as wide receivers coaches. And Ben taught me really the nuances of the technique. He learned from PJ Fleck, who I talk about a lot, who was at Minnesota, and just taught me every detail of the position, all the different break points, the hand combats, the strategies of the line of scrimmage. I learned from him. And then Coach Campanelli, Anthony Campanelli, who's the defensive coordinator at Boston College now, he's the greatest motivator I've ever been around. And I've never met anyone who can get more out of his kids than Coach Camp can, and a guy who loves his kids more than Coach Camp. So I was lucky enough to learn 3 different ways of teaching. I learned, and then obviously working for Coach Friedgen, it wasn't specifically receivers, but as a coach, learned how to be, how to really, you understand why he's a Hall of Famer. You just see the way he works, the attention to detail. I think is probably the greatest thing with Coach Friedgen that I learned, how every little thing matters and it's all important. But it was just learning from all these different guys, and also going to clinics, talking to other receivers coaches, and realizing, all right, I like this, what you're saying, I don't like what you're saying, and just kind of sit back and don't act like you have to have all the answers. Take in as much information as possible, listen to what people have to say, and then you can make a decision on your own what you want to implement into your own system. I think I've, like I said, been blessed to have great teachers, but I've also pulled little things from each guy to make this system my own. And I give all credit to them. I would be nothing as a receivers coach if it wasn't from the people that took the time to take me under their wing and teach me the game and teach me how to become a coach and how to manage kids. So I'm blessed that I've had that kind of mentorship. But I also think that I'm grateful for the fact that I was a GA at Rutgers and not a position coach right away, because I was able to just sit back and learn. My job at Rutgers wasn't to coach the kids on the field necessarily. It was to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and that allowed me to sit back in meetings and just listen and learn. It allowed me to sit back on the field while I'm helping with the drill and just listen and learn and take notes. And then once I left Rutgers, came to Wesleyan, I was really able to build a culture of my own, build a system of my own that now I feel very confident. I went there, we set a bunch of records at Wesleyan, built a family again here at Bosco. I feel good about the way the receivers are playing here at Bosco. So now I feel pretty confident in what I know, the system I have, and how to implement it. But it took time, and it took a lot of patience of just listening and being humble and trying to grab as much great detail from every individual coach that I could. And it might be a tidbit here and there, or it might be a whole philosophy like I got from some of the guys at Rutgers. But the more you can listen, the more you can learn. I think the better you'll set yourself up for success going forward. And then once you feel good about it, let it rip and love your kids hard and coach them as hard as you can every single day. So that's all I got. Episode 9 of Coach Talk. This is Thursday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.